Today we're going to be doing the lab mirrored view. So we're looking at what happens when light reflects off of a smooth, flat surface. Recall that light can reflect off surfaces. When light interacts with opaque objects, that's one of our vocabulary words from the last unit, last lesson, some of the light will bounce off. Now think about how reflection of light allows you to look in a mirror. How does the light bounce off a shiny, flat object like a mirror? Let's investigate. So here's some materials that you're going to need for this lab. If you don't have them, that's okay. I'm going to be showing you in the lab so you can get the data from me. So make sure you do have a flashlight. Definitely a piece of blank white paper. If you want black construction paper, that's fine. You can just get something that's thick and you can color it black if you want. Something to punch a hole in it. Not too big, small. A mirror for sure. A ruler. A protractor to help you measure some angles. And some tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some construction paper. And what I did was I kind of punched a hole in it like this. It doesn't have to be a perfect hole, but it's small enough. And I taped it to the end of my flashlight. That's what I did. And then I have a mirror that I just took a mirror like this and I just leaned it up against a lamp. I'll show you that a little bit later. And I kind of tilted it toward the white paper so that it's like slightly towards the table. And I put a white piece of paper at the bottom of the mirror, and I'll show you this in just a little bit. And I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing here. We're going to draw a line for N for normal, and then we're going to draw some lines on the white paper marking 30 degrees, 45, and 60. So let me show you how we're going to do that right now. Here are the supplies that I'm using to prepare for my lab. So I have a red, you can use any color pen really. I'm using a black Sharpie, but you could use any pen or marker. I have my protractor to measure my angles and my ruler. So I'm going to use the edge of my paper and I'm going to make sure to do a perpendicular line right about in the middle of the paper. I'm going to use my nice big thick Sharpie here and I'm going to start at the end here and I'm going to draw a line as perpendicular as I can to the edge of the paper. Oh, my marker's not that good. That's okay. So I've got all the way to the edge of the paper there. Okay. And I'm going to label this with N, like it said in the book. This is my normal, okay? My normal, my N. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my protractor and I'm going to line it up so that I can do my angles. So the center of your protractor, I'm going to put that right here at the edge of the paper. I want to make sure that it's at 90 degrees. And I have it line up with the 0 here, 0. Put that little circle right there at the very edge and make sure I line up with 90. Okay, then I'm going to try and find, I'm going to do 30, here's my 0. So I'm going to go 30 degrees. I'm going to put a little dash there at 30. And then I'm going to go to 45 right there and then to 60. Okay, then I'm going to take this away and I'm going to draw those lines. Now remember I measured from this point right here. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna draw out these lines. There's my 30 degrees. That was my 30 degrees. And now I'm gonna do my 45, lining it up there. 45 degrees. And then finally my 60. All right, 60 degrees. And I'm going to place this where my mirror is going to be right up against here. Okay. And then over here is where we're going to draw the reflections that we see. So I'm going to be using a pencil for that. In just a moment. Okay, going back to our lab book on page 91, it says to turn the flashlight on. So in a moment, I'll show you how that we're going to be turning our flashlight on and we're going to place it along each of the angles. We're going to place it along the 45 degree line and the as well as the 30 and the 60. Okay. If you want help from someone else to draw the reflection as you're holding it, you can. Or you can just use both your hands. You're just drawing some pencil lines. It's okay. And then we'll come back and we will measure the reflections that we're going to see. So your data sheet should look something like this, where your mirror is going to be here. This is going to be our white paper. We already drew the N. We drew the 30, the 45, and the 60, and we're going to be placing the flashlight at each of those angles, and you'll see where the reflections are going to happen over here, and we're going to draw them in. So I'm going to show you now what that's going to look like, and then you can draw them in on your paper. Okay, here I've taped my mirror upside down and it's kind of leaning towards me, and I'm going to place my white paper that I previously made right here. I'm going to put it right all the way up against the mirror there. And you can see the reflection in the mirror. Okay, and of course I have the most important part, which is my flashlight here. I'm going to turn it on. There we go. And as you can see, when we put it on the N line here, our normal line, when we put it straight on, it's gonna bounce right back at us pretty easily. I mean, my hole's not fully lined up, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Comes right back at you. So now what we're gonna do is, according to the directions, we're gonna place it at the, you can start at either of them, but it does say to start at the 45, and then you're going to draw the reflections however they are. Okay, so we're going to start at this 45. I'm going to put it right here on the 45 line, and you can see that the line is coming right along here. So I'm going to try and attempt to draw that line from that center there. I'm going to just try and do it as best I can in the middle of that line of light, as best I can. So that's my 45. I'm going to call it 45 there. And then I'm going to put it at the 30. Placed it right on top of the 30 there. All right, so where's that one? That one's coming about right here-ish, like this. And I'm just kind of I'm just drawing a line kind of in the middle, and I'll put my 30 right there. And then finally our 60 degree over there, as best we can. Can you get in there? Yeah, and then I'm trying to see where it's the center of that. It's kind of like over there. That's about the middle of my line of light there. 60. All right, let's see what we have here. Go ahead and turn this off. And now you can see what's happened here. This is the data that you want to write in your book on page 91. Notice where the 30 and the 30, the 45 and the 45, and the 60 and the 60 are. And for the last question, number 10, when we analyze this drawing, it says, in fact, let me come over here and we're gonna come right over here to our question. Oh, it's there it is, right there. On page 91, our last question here says, what patterns do you notice between the angles of incidence? Now this angles of incidence was where we placed the flashlight. That is the angle going in, is the angle of incidence, is the light going in. So what did you notice about the angle of incidence and the angle of reflected light? Those were those drawings that you put over here. You can rewind in this video to see them again. So what did you notice about those? So then I framed a sentence, or you can write your own sentence. The angle of reflection, which is this one over here, is, what's the relationship? What's the relationship compared to the angle of incidence, which are these over here? Okay, and then you're done for today. See you tomorrow.